silence. A profound planetary silence. 66 million years ago, the sky fractured. A celestial hammer struck the Earth, and the world was plunged into an age of darkness. The dinosaurs vanished. A dynasty of giants that had commanded the planet for 165 million years was erased from existence in the blink of a geological eye. The great forests burned to ash. The oceans boiled. The planet was rendered a desolate sphere of dust and death. Imagine emerging from a deep shelter into a world that was once overflowing with life, only to find it utterly, terrifyingly empty. But nature does not tolerate a vacuum. As the dust of ages settled, from deep burrows and tight crevices, the survivors of the cataclysm began to stir. They were small, furred creatures, many no larger than a rat. The mammals, a class of life that had spent eons huddled in the shadows of titans. Now, these quiet inheritors of the ash crept cautiously into the light, breathing the air of a new, unknown world. This was the Paleocene. The planet was slowly reviving, but it was an unstable, ghost-haunted landscape. Winds drove thick mists across scorched valleys. Here, the mammals began their first tentative experiments, whirring trees. Tiny primates, the Purgatorius, scurried through the branches. They were no bigger than a squirrel, yet their sharp vision and grasping hands were nature's first wager in the great game that would, one day, lead to us. Yet the throne left vacant by Tyrannosaurus was not for them. Not yet. It was seized by those who had once hidden in the treetops of the Mesozoic, the birds. Meet Gastornis, the waking nightmare of the early Paleocene. It was a feathered giant, standing as tall as a man and weighing over 150 kilograms. Its wings were useless for flight, but its powerful legs could propel its massive body at the speed of a sprinter. The most terrifying feature, however, was its head. It wielded an enormous hindly of tearing flesh, but of shattering the bones and shells of turtles as easily as we might crack a nut. Picture a forest clearing at dawn. Mist clings to the ground, muffling all sound. A herd of small, dog-sized herbivores grazes on the new growth. They are fast, but not cautious enough. One wanders too far from the safety of the group. From a thicket of ferns, an immense silhouette emerges without a sound. Gastornis freezes, fixing its prey with a cold, predatory stare. A moment of tense stillness, then an explosion of movement. The bird lunges, the earth trembling beneath its feet. The small mammal senses the danger, jinking and weaving, but it is force of a living press. For the small mammals watching from the shadows, the message was clear. The great reptiles were gone, but their feathered heirs still ruled this land. This was not yet their world. It was a brutal interregnum, an age where the ghosts of a fallen kingdom still cast a very long and very terrifying shadow. 56 million years before our time, the Earth awakens into a fever dream. This is the Eocene, an epoch stretching to 34 million years ago, when the planet transforms into a vast planetary greenhouse. The polar ice caps have vanished, and the world is swathed in a suffocating humidity. Tropical forests, dense and teeming with life, march north to conquer even the Arctic Circle. The air is thick, a saturated medium carrying the scent of unknown blossoms and wet earth. Food is everywhere. In this global hothouse, evolution ignites, running wild with its most audacious experiments. To stand here would be to walk through a world of myth. Towering trees form a cathedral canopy, their trunks draped in thick lianas. The forest floor is a perpetual twilight, pierced by shafts of dappled light. And from the unseen world above, a constant alien cacophony, the cries, calls, and songs of creatures finding their voice. Here, the mammals, once timid survivors of a dinosaur-haunted world, seize their inheritance. They explode in a riot of form and function, pouring into every conceivable niche. Some swell into colossal herbivores, browsers the size of modern horses and cattle, their heavy footfalls shaking the damp soil. Others sharpen their teeth and their instincts, becoming formidable predators. And still others, in a stunning evolutionary reversal, turn their backs on the land and return to the sea, claiming the oceans as a new frontier of possibility. High in the canopy, a new chapter is being written. A small creature, known to us as Darwinius, or Ida, leaps between branches. She is one of the first true primates. Her enormous, forward-facing eyes scan the foliage for insects and ripe fruit. Her hands, with their delicate opposable thumbs, grasp with a dexterity that is hauntingly familiar. In that precise and nimble grip, we see a prelude to our own story. Her distant descendants will one day descend from these arboreal kingdoms, stand upright, and begin to look not just around them, but ahead, into the vast expanse of the future. But while one story of intelligence unfolds in the canopy, a different drama of brute force plays out on the forest floor. Here we meet Andrewsarchus, the largest terrestrial carnivorous mammal ever to walk the earth. It is a creature of terrifying proportions, 4 meters from its snout to the tip of its tail, with a skull that is nearly a meter long. Its jaws, packed with immense muscle, possess a crushing power far exceeding that of any modern wolf. This is no graceful sprinter, no cheetah built for elegant pursuit. It is a ponderous, heavy-set engine of destruction, a scavenger and an ambush hunter capable of pulverizing the bones of prey as large as a bull. Imagine a watering hole during the zenith of the eocene swelter. The air shimmers in a heat haze, thick with the smell of silt and decaying vegetation. A herd of Uintatherium makes its way to the water's edge. They are the living tanks of their era, massive 3-ton giants, their heads crowned with a bizarre battlement of 6 bony horns, and their mouths arm of creatures without equal. But from the deep shadows of the riverine thicket, they are being watched. Andrewsarchus is an evolutionary paradox, a wolf in sheep's clothing. Its feet end not in claws, but in hooves, a strange relic of its herbivorous ancestry. Yet its head is a weapon of unparalleled devastation. It does not hurry. It is far too massive to chase down its quarry across the open plains. Instead, it waits, a monument of calculating stillness for the perfect moment, a moment of weakness. One of the younger Uintatherium bulls wades too deep, its legs sinking into the viscous, clinging mud near the bank. It struggles, but its immense weight becomes its own trap, pulling it further down. This is the instant the predator has been waiting for. Andrewsarchus does not spring, it erupts from the shadows. Its heavy steps are seismic, the ground thrumming under its weight. The victim sees the threat, tossing its horned head, but escape is impossible. The predator forgoes a leap, instead lowering its head and charging. It is a battering ram of flesh and bone, slamming its immense mass into the flank of the trapped animal, knocking it off balance. The great meter-long head, a solid construct of bone and muscle, clamps down on the victim's nape. The sound is a sickening, dry crack that cuts through the jungle air, the sound of the preterief, brutal and absolute. This is the law of the Eocene, a terrible, necessary dance that has shaped the world for millions of years. It is the engine of change, a brutal ballet where every fall gives rise to the future. The great silence descends. As the dust of extinction settles, the reign of the theropods fades as swiftly as it began, and a new dynasty ascends. The age of mammals has officially dawned. While some learn to master the sprawling forests and nascent grasslands, others are drawn to the most audacious and counterintuitive act in the history of life. They choose to return to the ocean. Imagine the sheer improbability. Your ancestors have spent hundreds of millions of years clawing their way onto solid ground, mastering the art of breathing air, and perfecting the mechanics of walking on 4 legs, only for their descendants to execute a complete 180-degree turn. Why would these furry, warm-blooded pioneers abandon the land and venture back into the cold, crushing abyss? The answer is as simple as it is profound: freedom. With the disappearance of the mosasaurs and plesiosaurs, the former masters of the sea, vast aquatic pastures and bays teeming with fish were left unclaimed. The ocean had become a planetary banquet, and the mammals could not resist such an opportunity. Meet Ambulocetus. The name translates to the walking whale, and no description could be more fitting. It is a biological paradox, a nightmarish fusion of otter and crocodile, stretching 3 meters from its whiskered snout to the tip of its powerful tail. Its body is cloaked in dense fur, a relic of its terrestrial past, while its feet, short and powerful, are webbed for purchase in the water. Its face is elongated into a long, tooth-studded jaw. This creature still brings in the water. We are in a murky eocene mangrove swamp. The water, the color of steeped tea, conceals everything deeper than a hand's breadth. At its edge, a small, hoofed creature steps forward to quench its thirst. The animal is cautious, its senses on high alert. It scans the dense foliage, its ears twitching at the rustle of unseen things in the forest. But the true danger is not in the forest. It is beneath the mirror-still surface. An explosion of spray shatters the silence. The swamp's tranquility is torn apart by a roar and a violent splash. Ambulocetus erupts from the depths, its jaws, lined with sharp, interlocking teeth, clamping down on the victim's muzzle in a grip of bone-splintering force. The hoofed animal thrashes, its legs beating a frantic rhythm against the predator's back, but its struggle is futile. Ambulocetus simply reverses, its powerful hind legs propelling it backward, dragging its prize into the deep. For a few desperate seconds, the battle continues beneath the surface. A final chain of air bubbles rises, breaking on the surface, and then silence reigns once more. Evolution possesses no delete button. It has only 2 functions: modify and reuse. It is difficult to believe, but this furry semi-crocodilian predator is a direct ancestor of the blue whale. In the millions of years to come, its legs will transform into flippers, its fur will vanish into a sleek, streamlined skin, and its body will achieve the dimensions of a naval vessel. But it all began here, with that first perilous step back into the water. The warmth of the Eocene world does not last. It gives way to the Oligocene. A great cooling begins. Antarctica, once green, becomes entombed in ice. Global temperatures plummet, and the lush jungles retreat, replaced by vast, open savannas. This new, harsher world of chaos opens the door for new heroes and new monsters. Behold Entelodon, the creature rightly dubbed the Hell Pig. It stands 2 meters at the shoulder, a brute of muscle and aggression. Its head is a terrifying weapon, adorned with bony flanges and protuberances, its jaws powerful enough to crush bone with the ease of a modern hyena. This is an omnivorous horror that not only devours anything in its path, but has the intelligence to hunt in coordinated, terrifying pack. Yet, even in this brutal world, there were gods. Towering above all was Paraceratherium. This was the largest land mammal to have ever walked the earth. To witness it would be to witness a living skyscraper of flesh and bone. 5 meters tall at the shoulder alone, with 20 tons. It was a moving mountain, a gentle colossus drifting through the Oligocene woodlands. For in the grand, unending narrative of life, there are no final victors. There are only fleeting reigns, temporary solutions to the eternal question of survival. Each titan a testament to a world that was, and a promise of the strange new forms that are yet to come. Beside it, a modern African elephant would appear a mere adolescent. The Andrewsarchus was a living mountain of muscle and bone, so immense that for a fully grown adult, the world held no natural predators. It would seem that such a fortress of flesh conferred a kind of immortality, a reign unchallenged by any single foe. But nature is the ultimate arbiter, and it is forever finding new ways to level the scales. The Oligocene epoch, 30 million years before the present. We are in the grip of the dry season, and the air shimmers under a relentless sun. Dust, fine as flour, clogs the folds of every creature's skin. Each footfall is an act of will against the oppressive heat. An old bull, his immense strength finally betrayed by thirst, begins to lag behind the herd. His movements are slow, ponderous, his breaths are ragged bellows. He is a titan adrift, and in this unforgiving landscape, He has just become a target for those who do not comprehend fear. From the tall, desiccated grass, they emerge not with a roar, but in unnerving silence. Entelodonts. They have been called hell pigs, and the name is an understatement. These are 2-meter-tall monsters, their faces carved from a nightmare. Bony flanges protrude from their skulls, their jaws are engineered to pulverize bone into meal, and their eyes, small and deep-set, burn with a cold, collective fury. A frontal assault would be suicide, even for them. They know this. Theirs is a different calculus, one of patience, coordination, and cruelty. 6 of the brutes form a perimeter, a closing ring of menace, always maintaining a safe distance from the giant's powerful legs. The moment the titan's attention wavers, one predator lunges. It is not a killing blow, but a calculated wound. It rips a chunk of flesh from the giant's hind leg and recoils with surgical speed. The Andrewsarchus bellows in pain and rage, attempting to crush the tormentor underfoot, but the attacker is already gone, melting back into the circle. This is the doctrine of 1,000 cuts, executed with methodical precision. Hour bleeds into agonizing hour. The pack works in seamless, brutal concert, darting in, tearing away flesh, and retreating before the Leviathan can retaliate. A cloud of dust and crimson mist hangs in the air, thick with the scent of blood and desperation. The giant weakens. The great head, once held so high, begins to droop. Finally, the colossal legs, sinews severed and strength exhausted, can bear the weight no longer. The titan shudders, sways, and then collapses in a great heap, its fall shaking the very ground. Silence descends once more upon the savanna, broken only by the triumphant, guttural squeals of the pack. On these ancient plains, a new paradigm has been brutally established. Cunning has triumphed over might. Tactics, patience, and the power of the group have dismantled a fortress of flesh. Evolution has proven that while size is a formidable advantage, intelligence and coordinated aggression are weapons of an entirely different order. The world is changing. It is growing faster, quieter, and infinitely more lethal. The age of lumbering giants is giving way to an era of specialized assassins, masters of the unseen kill. Meet Eocene, not a true cat as we know them, but a fearsome prototype from a parallel lineage, the Nimravids, or false saber-tooths. No larger than a leopard, its power was not in bulk, but in its lethal efficiency. Its true signature, its terrible coat of arms, were the 2 immense serrated canine teeth that hung. The Eocene was no endurance runner. It was a phantom, a king of the ambush. Its low-slung, muscular body could melt into the parched landscape, becoming one with the rustling grass and shifting shadows. It did not chase its prey for kilometers. It waited for prey to come to. And it is into this world of silent, sudden death that our own distant ancestors are thrust. The great forests, their arboreal sanctuary for millions of years, are in retreat. The open savanna beckons, a land of opportunity, but also of unprecedented peril. Here, among the tall grasses, the old rules of the canopy are meaningless. Survival is no longer about climbing higher, but about thinking faster. The brain, not brawn, is becoming the ultimate weapon. Out on the vast, unforgiving plains, a new kind of predator and a new kind of prey are being forged in the crucible of fear. And the echoes of that ancient arms race between the hunter in the grass and the ancestor who first dared to stand tall to see over it reverberate within us to this day. And the tall, twin daggers of its teeth were the last thing you felt. For a creature on 4 limbs, the world is a claustrophobic maze, a universe defined by the few feet of terrain directly ahead. The horizon is a concept yet to be born. Imagine a troop of our distant ancestors foraging at the threshold of the savanna, seeking the sweet reprieve of fruit-bearing trees. A breeze stirs the air, carrying with it an unfamiliar scent, the scent of dust, dry vegetation, and something else, something metallic and predatory. Nearby, the snap of a twig, almost too faint to register, cuts through the drone of insects. Primal instinct screams a silent alarm, a jolt of pure terror passed down through generations. But the concealing wall of grass betrays nothing. It holds its secrets, and somewhere within it, death is waiting. In this moment of supreme crisis, one of these ancestors does something that will irrevocably alter the course of life on this planet. It rears back, an awkward, trembling movement, a fight against anatomy and gravity. It rises onto its hind legs, wobbling, straining, stretching its neck for a view it has never known. For the first time, its eyes clear the sea of grass. The world expands. A vast, unbroken panorama unfolds, and with it, a new kind of knowledge. There, a mere 20 paces away, a flicker of motion, a patch of tawny fur, the glint of sunlight on polished bone. The saber-toothed predator, Eusmilus, is frozen mid-stalk, its perfect ambush compromised. A single, shrill cry of warning erupts from the scout. In an instant, the troop explodes into motion, scrambling for the safety of the nearest tree, a frantic ascent into the vertical world they know so well. The hunter, its element of surprise lost, is left to the silence of its failed hunt. This was not a planned revolution. It was a desperate, fleeting act of survival. Yet this was the spark. From this unsteady posture, the flame of human civilization would one day ignite. For in that moment, the hands were freed, and the eyes were lifted to the future. A gaze fixed upon the horizon would ultimately prove a more formidable weapon than any claw or fang. By the close of the Oligocene epoch, the world had been transformed beyond recognition. The mammals, which just 40 million years before were scurrying, rat-sized creatures hiding in the shadows of dinosaurs, were now titans. They were the planet's new masters of survival. They had conquered the land, returned to the oceans as leviathans, and even taken to the air. Long before our ancestors stood in the grass, bats already patrolled the velvet darkness of the night, their sonar mapping a world invisible to others. The Paleogene period was a testament to mammalian resilience. Where the great reptiles had required hundreds of millions of years to achieve their dominance, mammals had radiated with explosive speed. In just a few tens of millions of years, they had journeyed from the scale of a mouse to that of a 20-ton behemoth. Their genius was adaptability, a relentless evolutionary drive to fill every conceivable niche. But the world engine never rests. The climate continued its slow, inexorable shift. The great forests receded, and the savannas spread, blanketing Africa, Eurasia, and the Americas. These vast, open plains demanded new strategies for life. Predators needed to be faster, their bodies engineered for the explosive chase. Herbivores required greater endurance, the ability to migrate across immense distances in colossal herds, carving epic trails into the very surface of the continents. The world was becoming an arena, a stage for a long and brutal game of endurance. And somewhere, on the fringes of an African savanna, under the sparse shade of an acacia tree, the primates were beginning to straighten up. They were still small, still vulnerable, a minor note in a symphony of giants and killers. They rose tentatively, a brief and precarious survey of their surroundings, a constant search for the glint of those terrible teeth in the grass. The sun bleeds across the sky. Evening descends upon this ancient stage. At the base of a wood, held with a curiosity it does not understand, it is a plaything, but it is also the ghost of a future weapon, the ancestor of the tool. Around it, a world of unimaginable danger still prowls. In its grip is not merely wood, but the seed of a new power on Earth. The power not just to see over the grass, but to reshape the world that grows beneath it. From the shadow of the herd, a clumsy bipedal observer watches, but its time has not yet come. Its story will be written in the epic that is about to dawn. The Paleogene age draws its final, shuddering breath. The long reign of archaic mammals is ending, and the world stands upon a precipice, gazing into a new chapter of life's epic. Ahead lies the Neogene, an era that will forge the most sophisticated predators in the planet's history. The saber-tooths, the great cave lions, the terror birds of South America, and at the heart of this burgeoning chaos, a creature that will learn not merely to survive, but to bend the very fabric of the world to its will. The world of the Paleogene is now as of history. The planet continues its slow, inexorable cooling, where lush, evergreen jungles once hummed with life, an endless, whispering sea of grass now sways. This grass is a silent, merciless revolutionary. At first glance, it appears to be an easy bounty, a passive carpet of sustenance. This is an illusion. Its blades are laced with microscopic crystals of silica, phytoliths, transforming each plant into a form of biological sandpaper. It is a food source that fights back, grinding the teeth of grazers to dust. The neogene dictates new, brutal terms for existence. The savanna is an open arena. There are no dense thickets to offer sanctuary. Survival is now a public spectacle, played out under an unforgiving sun. To endure, life must make a choice. Evolve jaws into powerful millstones, capable of pulverizing this crystalline vegetation, or transform the body into a perfect biological engine, built for the punishing marathon of the sun-scorched plains. In this new world, victory belongs not to the strong, but to the tireless. 20 million years ago, the Miocene plains have become a vast, unforgiving stadium where to lose a race is to meet a sudden, violent end. To conquer the sandpaper grass, mammals undertake a radical reinvention. Here, we meet Merychippus, a pivotal ancestor of the modern horse. It no longer skulks in the forests. Its body is a triumph of neogene engineering. Its teeth have become high-crowned and brutally hard, designed to withstand decades of grinding silica. But the true marvel is in its legs. The side toes, relics of a forest-dwelling past, have begun to wither, ceding dominance to a single, powerful, central hoof. This anatomical revolution transforms running from a frantic sprint into a feat of boundless endurance. Merychippus becomes the savanna's first professional athlete, capable of thundering across the hard-baked earth for hours, leaving exhaustion far behind. Yet where evolution crafts the perfect runner, it inevitably summons the perfect pursuer. From the long shadows cast by a lone tree, a new hunter watches the herd. This is Megafauna. It is not merely a cat, it is a blueprint, one of history's first true saber-toothed predators. Nearly 3 meters of lethal grace, 200 kilograms of coiled muscle. The Megafauna will not engage in a chase across the open prairie. It understands the futility of such a race. It knows it will lose the marathon. An endless contest is declared upon these plains, a duel between stamina and ambush, between the engine and the blade. This is the crucible of the neogene, forging the weapons and defenses that will define life for millions of years. And all the while, in the periphery, another lineage is quietly learning, observing. It is not yet the fastest, nor the strongest, but it is beginning to grasp a different kind of power, not of the body, but of the mind. A power that will one day eclipse the might of fang and hoof and reshape the planet itself. The strategy is one of surgical precision. Imagine a savanna, bleached bone white by an unrelenting sun. The air itself trembles, a visible shimmer of heat rising from the earth. A herd of Merychippus, the three-toed horses of the Miocene, lift their heads in a nervous assembly. They taste only dust, but instinct tells them the world is holding its breath. The wind, a fickle ally, blows toward them, carrying their scent away from the danger and masking the enemy's approach completely. There, just a few dozen meters away, the Megafauna is frozen in time. Its spotted coat is a perfect whisper in the parched landscape, indistinguishable from the pattern of light and shadow in the tall, dry grass. It is a master of the calculated pause, an artist of the ambush. Then, the stillness shatters. A blur of coiled muscle erupts from the grass, an explosion of speed that is over in seconds. The predator does not harry the edges of the herd. It drives directly into its heart, sowing chaos to isolate its target. This is not a frenzied attack, but a calculated execution. It ignores the foals and the mares, its eyes fixed on a prime stallion. Powerful forelimbs, anchors of sinew and bone, drive the horse to the earth. There is no prolonged struggle. In the next instant, 20-centimeter daggers are a single, fatal puncture. They slide with terrifying accuracy into the great arteries of the neck. The lifeblood of the stallion spills onto the thirsty ground, and the only sound is the quiet, gurgling sigh of a life extinguished. As the predator begins its solitary feast, the thunder of hooves from the fleeing herd recedes into the shimmering distance. While this high-stakes drama of speed and fang unfolds across the northern continents, our own distant kin in Africa are conducting a quieter experiment. They seem frail, peripheral figures in this age of titans, but they have mastered the defining skill of the neogene. They have learned how to wait. From the safety of a rocky outcrop or the high branches of a tree, they watch these contests of life and death. They are silent students, absorbing the brutal grammar of this new, unforgiving world. Yet far to the south, an entire continent remained a lost world. Severed from the rest of the planet by vast oceans, South America drifted in splendid isolation, a gigantic island sanctuary where the bears, the wolves were absent. The ecological stage was empty. And into this silence, the throne of the apex predator was claimed by a lineage that, elsewhere, had long ceded the land to mammals. While birds on other continents took to the clouds to escape the tooth and claw below, here, in isolation, they decided to take their revenge. Evolution, it seemed, had turned back its own clock. Birds forsook the sky to reclaim the earth, to become once more what their distant ancestors had been, the bipedal masters of the terrestrial realm. Meet the forest racos, the terror bird. It is a creature from a fever dream. Imagine a 2-meter-tall titan with the physique of an elite athlete, its powerful legs built for the chase, and a head the size of a horse's. Its beak was not for pecking, but for butchery, a massive hooked battle axe of keratin, engineered to shatter bone and tear flesh with a single downward strike. For millions of years, in a world that stood still, the Forest Racos was an absolute monarch. It knew no rivals, no enemies capable of challenging its reign. It was the perfect solitary assassin. But the world does not stand still forever. 3 million years ago, the slow, inexorable dance of tectonic plates pushed the Isthmus of Panama from the sea. This slender thread of land became a bridge, a conduit for invasion. From the north, legions of new predators poured south, saber-toothed cats, dire wolves, and short-faced bears. Survival. The terror birds have ruled for eons through brute, singular force, the devastating efficiency of a single, decisive blow. But the mammals from the north brought with them something new, something forged in the relentless competitive crucible of Eurasia and North America. Collaborative discipline, pack intelligence, and the cold calculus of endurance. Where the southern monster relied on the raw power of the individual, the northern invaders employed the sophisticated strategies of the group. The ancient rules of this isolated world were rendered obsolete. The feathered tyrants, accustomed to being the sole architects of terror, found themselves outmaneuvered and outlasted. Their reign, built on the perfection of a single brutal act, had no answer for the relentless pressure of a system. The age of monsters was over. The age of organizations had begun. Culus of the pack, a collective that knew neither fear nor retreat. The southern citadels of the great birds finally crumbled, offering a stark lesson in the unforgiving arithmetic of evolution. Victory belongs not to the most fearsome, but to the one who can adapt to a new and ever more complex reality. And while these ancient avian empires were collapsing across the Americas, a different story was unfolding in Africa. Here, our own ancestors continued their quiet, uncertain journey. They were smaller than the saber-toothed cat, weaker than the last of the terror birds, yet they were beginning to master the very weapon that had undone the feathered giants of the south: mutual reliance, and the profound ability to act as a single, thinking entity. driven out onto the open savanna, they made a wager that would alter the course of life on Earth. They entrusted their existence to just 2 legs. This was not yet the proud, straight posture of modern humanity. Their gait was still touched by an awkward shuffle. Their hands still held the muscle memory of grasping sturdy branches. But their spine had begun its long, arduous defiance of gravity. By rising to nearly their full height, these creatures gained not only a commanding perspective over a sea of tall grass, but something far more precious: liberated hand. While the world around them was investing in sheer mass and sharpened bone, our ancestors were given the chance to grasp the first tool. It was a choice that would, in the fullness of time, prove more perilous than any claw. We draw near to the finale of the Neogene. The climate grows harsher, the droughts more prolonged and unforgiving. It is as if nature's onto this grand stage strides Arctidus, the short-faced bear, the largest terrestrial predator of its time. When it rose to its full height, it was a monolith of fur and muscle, touching 4 meters. This was no forest scavenger. This was a long-limbed athlete, a Goliath built for the chase, capable of speeds up to 60 kilometers an hour. It was the undisputed sovereign of the plains, a presence before which even packs of dire wolves would yield. And in the forests and lush river floodplains, another giant roamed, Megatherium, the giant ground sloth, a 4-ton behemoth. It was a walking four-treff saber-toothed tigers. Imagine the scene, a suffocating Pliocene noon. A river carries its murky water in slow motion. The very air is thick with the scent of wet earth, decaying foliage, and the electric tang of imminent danger. A pride of Smilodon, the legendary saber-toothed cats, has cornered a young Megatherium. The giant sloth, weighing almost 4 tons, appears to be an ungainly mountain of flesh, but this is a fatal illusion. The Megatherium is a 4-ton biological tank. Beneath its thick, coarse hide, the Smilodon, intoxicated by the scent of blood, commits to the attack. It soars through the heavy air, fangs aimed for the vulnerable throat. But in that instant, the sloth executes a maneuver the predator could never anticipate. Bracing itself on its colossal, muscular tail, the Megatherium rears up with astonishing speed, transforming into a living tower nearly 5 meters tall. It looms over the cats, a vast shadow that momentarily blots out the sun. A single, lightning-fast swipe of a forelimb, armed with 30-centimeter claws, and the oppressive silence is torn apart by the visceral sound of rending flesh. The Age of Titans was a world of brutal physical truths, written in bone and muscle. But on the distant plains, a different kind of power was stirring. The future would not be won by tooth and claw alone, but by the mind that could hold a stone, and the community that could stand as one. The Smilodon never reaches its target. Before its fangs can fins broken, its mutilated form hurled against the unforgiving stones. The remaining cats, a pride of apex predators, freeze in their tracks. A primal instinct, a shriek of pure terror, screams through their minds. They had stalked what they thought was prey. Now, they understood. Before them stood not a meal, but an embodiment of death itself. The fearsome hunters begin to back away, their advance turned into a desperate, shuffling retreat. But from the deep shadows of the ancient trees, another power emerges, one that fears nothing. Arctidus, the giant, short-faced bear. It has no intention of engaging the enraged Megatherium. The bear is a pragmatist, an opportunist of terrifying efficiency. Its gaze falls not on the victor, but on the vanquished. It decides, with cold, calculating survival, to claim what remains of the unlucky hunter. While the Smilodon pride retreats in a spectacle of shame, abandoning their wounded kin, the true sovereign of this landscape moves forward. A titan weighing a full ton approaches the still-breathing cat. In this brutal, unforgiving world, there is no room for pity. There is only the calculus of energy, of calories won and lost. Today, a super predator becomes little more than a high-calorie meal for the true master of the plains. The bear tears into the carcass, its immense power making a mockery of rib cages and sinew. It feasts, but it is efficient. The largest bones, the massive, blood-slicked pillars of the legs, are left untouched. They hold too little meat, too much marrow locked away, to be worth the immense effort required to break. Now, look away from the carnage, to the periphery. There, in the dappled shade of thorny acacias, a pair of eyes has been watching this entire drama unfold. She is holding her breath. Her name is Lucy. She is barely a meter tall, no higher than a modern child. She possesses no saber teeth, no armor plating, no 4 tons of muscle. In this world of titans, she seems a mere whisper in the roar of evolution, a fleeting snack for any passing carnivore. And yet, it is within her that the future of this entire planet now pulses. The Arctodus departs, its hunger sated. Other scavengers, drawn by the coppery scent of blood, now move in. They prowl helplessly around the remains, powerless against the bone's natural armor. Lucy's tribe is here now too. One of the males, desperate, attempts to gnaw at a joint, only to shatter his own teeth in a useless display of force. The tribe is ready to move on, to admit defeat before a dead, impenetrable bone. But Lucy is still. Her gaze falls upon a small shard of bone, accidentally crushed under the Arctodus's monstrous paw. Through the fissure, she sees something fatty, glistening. Her mind holds the memory of this scent. She has found such fragments before, leftovers from hyena kills, and knows that hidden inside is the most nutrient-dense delicacy the savanna has to offer. The problem has always been the same: how to retrieve it from the prison of an unbroken bone. In the nascent circuitry of her mind, 2 distant points, the unyielding weight of a stone at her feet and the remembered fragility of a shattered bone, suddenly connect into a single, revolutionary chain of logic. She kneels. She selects a river stone, heavy, cold, unremarkable. She raises her arm. A swing, a strike. A sharp, dry crack shatters the afternoon stillness. The bone fractures, its formidable defense breached, exposing the treasure within. In that single moment, something more profound than all the battles of giants has occurred. For the first time in history, a predator's natural strength has been defeated not by greater strength, but by an idea, an instrument. Lucy retrieves the marrow and shares it with her kin. She does not yet know that the stone in her hand is the ancestor of the sword, that this flicker of ingenuity will, over millions of years, be tamed into the controlled flame of a campfire, and that her descendants will one day step out from the shade of these acacias, not as observers on the edge of a violent world, but as the force that will permanently rewrite the rules of life on Earth. As the giants of the Neogene honed their sabers to a razor's edge, a different kind of power was quietly taking root. While they perfected the instruments of predation, a small hominid we call Lucy began to perfect the world around her. The long warmth of the epoch was fading. A deep planetary chill began its relentless advance, and the great savannas, the very cradles of the Smilodon and the colossal sloth, started to stiffen with frost. This world of titans stood on the edge of a precipice, oblivious to the fact that its reign was over. Ahead lay the Pleistocene, an age of ice and mammoths. It was to be nature's final, brutal examination for survival. And in this crucible, the creature that had seemed so frail, so utterly defenseless, would emerge as the most dangerous force the Earth had ever known. True dominion, it turned out, was not a matter of mind, but of mind.